The quality of a college's program in a specific major is one of the most crucial but often neglected elements of the college selection process. Few students know how to make an informed decision about the strength of a college program in a specific major, and few counselors know how to guide them. But the essential information is not so elusive if you know where to look. Even the elite colleges may be strong in certain departments, but quite weak in others. This is one of the reasons students need to do some investigative work regarding the colleges they are interested in attending. Things change. We are not helping students if we rely on past illustrious reputation or the reputation of the larger institution. Specifics matter. As a former longtime professor and seasoned college counselor, I can help you to guide your students to evaluate and compare different colleges' programs. This can make an enormous difference in the quality of a student's academic experience and their return on investment. This is a real-life example. Jeff wanted to major in Japanese in University X or University Y. So I showed him how to look at the department webpage to determine the classes that he would take, the program of study, the number of professors, look into the program abroad, look at the frequency of courses, and then we looked at the common data set, section J, to see how many students graduated with this major each year. I also gave an extra call to each department to verify the exact number. All of this took less than 10 minutes, but it became really crystal clear to Jeff that he should attend University Y and take University X off the table. Of course, many students change their major several times while in college, but even that can be a direct result of insufficient research. Peter Archidiakono's studies revealed that students in STEM majors who attend colleges where their scores are 200 points below the average, known as overmatching, tend not to persist in STEM majors and switch to easier majors. Had they attended a college more aligned with their score, they would have been more likely to persist in the intended and more lucrative major of, say, engineering. Let's say that our student absolutely knows that ever popular psychology is her passion. True of virtually every field, there are different concentrations. Smaller colleges are likely to offer a limited program, often attuned to professors' research foci, while larger universities may offer specializations in one track. A narrower focus is not necessarily better, contrary to what many students believe. A degree in management is more marketable than one in golf course management. The department should be able to provide statistics about students employed within the major. The methodology of ranking systems really matters. They're often illogical and far more relevant to some fields, especially STEM, than others. Some weigh inputs like funding, student standardized test scores, and the TARU measures more than outcomes like research grants received, research expenditures, student retention, and career and salary data. I prefer the Shanghai rankings, the ARWU, which focus on alumni output. The QS rankings survey academics and employers for their recommendations and research citations per paper. The popular among counselors Ruggs Guide looks for very high graduation rates in a major, like 10 to 12% of the student body. This is an important metric that can be found in Common Data Set Section J. An orientation toward teaching over research and publication, but those publications establish the professor's and department's reputation. The quality of courses offered, but I wonder evaluated by whom and how, as well as departmental events, learning opportunities beyond the classroom, number and quality of internships, and they say diversity. But I always question, well, what kind of diversity? Ideological, ethnic, research interests? Regardless of the source, ranking systems are only one data point.
Some, most, or all of the professors who gave an institution a superior reputation 10 years ago, or even just last year, might have left, but you would have a hard time figuring that out on your own. That was then, this is now. The circumstances and reputation of a department can change dramatically and quickly, and it is important to find out. A department can suddenly attract a great deal of attention when a professor becomes a TED Talk superstar, say, or a best-selling author, and attract other star scholars who want to collaborate with that professor. This can also help alumni who attended the university when the department was not so illustrious. The reverse is also true, however. Some schools that don't have particularly strong reputations are considered among the very best in the nation for certain programs. I can speak from my own experience. I turned down an Ivy League grad school with a poor reputation I wanted to pursue to attend Drew, a small, very small, liberal arts college and grad school that had all but one of the major scholars in my field, and I was able to study with them. Within a decade, however, they all dispersed or died, and now the grad school has no real reputation to speak of at all, but at least I had the opportunity to study with all the greats at the time, and it was transformative. If my degree from the Ivy were on my resume, however, my professional opportunities in the college counseling field would be quite different, but that was not the field that I had intended to pursue. Additionally, when a university is just rolling out a new program, the admissions officers will focus their efforts on trying to attract students for it. Being part of an experiment may be attractive, but understand that many programs don't last long enough for students to graduate or may not have the necessary accreditation or may lose it, which can require students to repeat the program at an accredited institution. Moreover, universities are closing less popular programs like math, history, philosophy, physics to save costs. Check the university's Common Data Set Section J to see the percentages of students awarded degrees in specific majors. A very low percentage demonstrates that this is not the university's strongest program. Depending on the institution's financial health, the program may be in danger. Admissions departments do not always know about program elimination ahead of time. It often even takes professors by surprise, because universities will still take students to ensure that those professors are busy in the meantime, even as they plan to shut down the program. Sure, it's ethically questionable, but universities are businesses. The university is accreditation bound to have a teach-out plan to help the student complete the degree, but that often involves transferring to another university. Additionally, students can contact a professor or department chair, it's part of their job, and ask about their program and how it may differ from that of another university they may be considering. They should be able to answer that question with aplomb and to your satisfaction. If not, run. Find out how industry regards programs. What corporate partnerships exist in the prospective field? Who recruits on campus? It's not hard to contact the Career Services Department and the HR departments of target employers.
The course catalog and departmental web pages provide an indispensable wealth of information to students if they know how to interpret what they see. First, check the requirements for the major. Use the program map or course map, usually somewhere in the department's web page. It may come as a surprise to some counselors that many students have absolutely no idea of the kinds of courses that will be required of them in their intended field. So this can be a major revelation. In the course catalog, look up the listings for those courses as well as their description, or ask admissions for the link to see them. What courses are core general education courses? What are required courses for the major program, and what specialized courses do they offer within the major, if any? How often are the courses offered? As interest dictates, that cool course may never be offered. Offered every other year can mean extended time to degree. There should be multiple sections of required courses if there are many students in the program. Students with a research idea of their own they want to pursue should find out if independent study is encouraged and common or rare. It tends to be expensive, and many universities do not encourage it.
Students must check into whether the program has the desired accreditation, meets the requirements for their prospective industry or professional certification or graduate program. This holds true from business to teacher education. Students may graduate with a degree in Spanish intending to teach, but find they do not meet certification requirements in their state. Request the passing rates for exams and grad school admission. But know that colleges sometimes game the system by reporting scores and admit rates only of selected so-called qualified examinants or applicants. Again, it's really important to understand that you can call the Career Services Department and find out who recruits on campus. Many students are very interested in study abroad, and of course, virtually every university offers study abroad, but it can be very difficult for certain majors to manage that, like nursing and engineering in particular. Some universities do allow for that. I just learned this week about LIU Global, in which students study their 8 semesters in 8 different countries and earn a bachelor's degree in global studies. So it's really important to understand what special programs each college offers.
Students will be greatly influenced by faculty members and their perspective. How many professors are in the department? If few, students are likely to major in their opinions more than their chosen field and will be unlikely to develop much breadth of knowledge. In larger universities, there is often, though not always, greater diversity of perspective, which is desirable. While a small department may offer more personalized attention, it can also be disastrous for other reasons. A student might have a personality conflict or learning style conflict with one or more of the instructors. One of them might go on sabbatical, take a leave of absence, or get another job, and students will be stuck. Find out about the department or the professors on the internet. See the number of citations of their publications in Google Scholar. Do other scholars quote their work? Have they published respected and influential papers? Students sincerely interested in what one or more of them is studying should correspond with the professor and inquire about assisting them, even while in high school. Data entry is always needed. If a student's heart is set on working with Professor Bigshot, does she even teach undergraduates? See if her name appears on the course list in the catalog. In the larger research-driven universities, access to her may be virtually impossible. This can be true, however, even in small universities with certain diva and devo professors who don't bother with students at all. Think of the TV show Big Bang Theory. Those physicists are not in the classroom. They're doing other work, which is a good thing to advance science. At most, a student might get to wash test tubes in the lab, but undergraduate opportunities for research continue to improve as students demand ways to make their resumes more competitive. High school students are unlikely to understand the different philosophies that are espoused or promulgated by the faculty in a particular department, despite the fact they will be greatly influenced by those faculty members and their perspective. Students risk being indoctrinated in a narrow viewpoint. Instructors can be extremely dismissive of other ways of doing or seeing things. It is obsolete advice to avoid departments with many adjunct professors or lecturers. Because most universities use such instructors as prudent cost-saving measures. Besides, wouldn't you rather study management with a part-time instructor who has actually been vice president at a major corporation for 20 years? Wouldn't you want to study creative writing with a Hugo Award winner who teaches part-time? And finally, wouldn't you rather study with someone who is invested in doing a great job of teaching? Many students and parents check the professors and rate my professor, but students' opinion surveys have been discredited for a variety of reasons. Students enter reviews when they feel strongly one way or another. Male professors get better ratings than females for culturally conditioned reasons. Popular professors can be those that are easy graders, not necessarily the best instructors. Still, if a majority of professors in the department have poor ratings, it's an indication, like retention in Common Data Set Section B, that students are unhappy and that it is not a place to be. Let's take a look at this art history department page. It features museum study, internships, off-campus programs, and some other programs, standard stuff to be expected. But just 3 professors? That should give us pause. This isn't to say that students should automatically prefer large departments. Small departments can provide much individualized attention, but that may or may not be true depending on how focused on teaching or other issues the professors are and what connections they have to help students get internships and jobs. Some professors are far more connected than others. But again, if the student doesn't mesh well with even one of these professors, her time here will be a nightmare and can corrupt her entire future career in the art world. They may also be quite directive of students' interests to match with their own. It's best for the student to visit the campus and sit in on classes and ask the other students. In such a small pond, all the fish had better be super. Here's a place where Rate My Professor can come in handy. This is the typical comparison for a psychology major that one of my students drew up with 3 universities she was considering. She wasn't very serious about university number 1 because it is local. She really had her eyes set on number 2 or number 3. But the fact is that university number 1 offers 5 strands of psychology, a BS or a BA. It has balanced attention focused on both the undergraduate and graduates, 31 professors, there's an honors program in the major, internship at Scripps and Max Planck, Center for Autism and Related Disorders on campus. It's a public, so it offers in-state tuition. And in comparison with the other 2, it was very clear that university number 1 offered far more, and so that's where she has decided to attend.
In the interest of helping families to make more informed decisions, we need to help them understand that a less selective university may have a much stronger program in a specific major than a highly selective one. Understand the danger of overmatching for STEM majors. Use the content-rich common data set for a variety of purposes, especially Section J. Compare the benefits of small and large programs. Examine the logic of rankings methodologies. Gauge the currency of reputation and its relevance for specific programs. Use department websites to understand the program map and expected coursework. Search department websites in Google Scholar to evaluate the quality and number of professors through their bios and the number of citations and the relevance of their research interests to the students. And review the course catalog to uncover vital information like the frequency of course offerings and descriptions that can reveal important strengths and significant weaknesses of the programs, as well as fit with the students' expectations and interests. Thank you, and feel free to contact me with any questions.